You may have seen a tweet from me if you follow me on Twitter, and I was pretty mad, and I swore. Yep, that's right, there was a swear word in that tweet. And I basically said, Tulsi Gabbard's a progressive. She's always been a progressive, and she gets attacked relentlessly by the left. What does that say about our current state of politics? And what does that say to us, people who've historically voted Democrat, who are being smeared by the left as well? What the F do you want from us? And of course, the response from most people was total submission. And they were saying it sarcastically, like, not sarcastically, but like, that's what they want. They want total submission from you. And I agree. I'm sorry that the left is falling apart. It's not my fault. I didn't make it happen. And saying so doesn't make me a conservative. But I'll tell you what, we got a couple stories I want to highlight in that vein, and then we'll talk about it. Trump defends Tulsi, takes on Clinton over Russian conspiracy theories. Man, you know the meme of the two arms linking? I'm like Tulsi Gabbard supporters, Donald Trump supporters, linking hands over being smeared as Russian bots and assets. I feel you, man. There's that meme going around where it's James Franco with the MAGA hat on and a noose, and it says being smeared as Russians, and he's like first time, and it's like not really. I mean, because I've defended Donald Trump in many ways. I've criticized him in many ways. I lean towards not liking him so much. But I'm not a crazy person, right? So I find that a lot of the media attacks are disingenuous and frankly strange. So they call me a Russian bot. They levy accusations, not so much against me, right, for the most part, but against many people who legitimately support the president. They say you're a Russian bot. It's not true. There's like a very, very tiny amount of actual Russian bots. It's all exaggerated conspiracy nonsense. But now, us Tulsi Gabbard fans can really, really revel in Hillary Clinton smearing us. Well, they smeared her. She called her a Russian asset. She's being groomed, and the bots are supporting her and things like that. It was like an indirect. But listen, man, I'm not a bot. There's no apparatus behind me supporting me through the Russians. That's ridiculous. I put on an event. People showed up. I actually did think, I'm like, man, what if it was the case that all my views were fake and it was just Russians? And that makes no sense. That's a conspiracy insanity nonsense. It's far from the simple solution to imply that. I go out on the street, I get recognized all the time. People come up to me, I shake their hands, and it's just reality. The reality is Donald Trump won the election. The reality is disaffected liberals, moderate types like me, support Tulsi Gabbard, even though Tulsi does have positions I do not like. She's against nuclear energy, and she's for reparations, and I disagree with that. However, I have a lot of respect for her character-wise, and I think she's doing what she can to be amicable to those who do disagree with her. And that is probably one of the most important aspects of one of the most important things we need right now. Well, I'll tell you this, man. I will give my respect to Trump for defending Tulsi Gabbard, because this is the kind of left versus right we should be having. Someone levying weird conspiracy theories against Tulsi, and Trump coming out and saying none of that. Now, you can criticize Trump for the rhetoric he's used against other politicians and personalities, and I believe that would be fair. But I think back to John McCain and Barack Obama. There was a town hall meeting where someone called Obama a Muslim, and John McCain said, no. He is a good Christian man with a family. I just happen to disagree. And that was incredible. That was incredible. I know people don't like John McCain for a lot of reasons, and I agree. Warhawk, right? Come on. You know who you're talking to. I got a lot of criticism because I gave him respect in passing, and that has more to do with human decency as opposed to, I don't like John McCain. You're going to be crazy. He's like the epitome of Warhawk, But the point is, John McCain was still, for all the things I don't like about him, was still willing to give respect to Obama. And what happened, right? What happened? Now, with Hillary, Trump's a Russian the whole time. And Trump's like, what? And Trump gave it right back. I fully admit that. But I like this. I like the idea that Trump defends Tulsi over Clinton's conspiracy theories. So there's a little bit more. I'll read a little bit of this, and I have another story because there's some updates. Tulsi has issued another statement about Hillary. So Trump tweeted, "So now crooked Hillary is at it again. She is calling Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard a Russian favorite and Jill Stein a Russian asset. As you may have heard, I was called a big Russia lover also. Actually, I do like Russian people. I like all people. Hillary's gone crazy." Do they have the next tweet from him? I don't know. He made another point where he said Jill Stein is a renowned environmentalist being smeared. They say, it's no surprise Trump weighed in on the ongoing tiff between Congresswoman Tulsi and former Democratic presidential nominee after spending months embroiled in controversy over it. Months? Years, you mean? Clinton, after all, made it known that she suspected Russia and its leader, Vladimir Putin, had a hand in her 2016 loss to Trump just days after the results of the presidential election became final. This is it. We have conspiracy theory former Democratic candidate, the most prominent figure in her party pushing conspiracy insanity. Welcome to Conspiracy 2020. Now, fortunately, Van Jones, even Beto O'Rourke defended Tulsi Gabbard. I'm sorry, Hillary. You're out. People think you've gone nuts. People believe now that you've gone nuts. They say, last week Clinton said Gabbard was a Russian asset. Gabbard fired back. We saw that stuff. Marianne Williamson chimed in. Much respect to Marianne. They say Yang tweeted that Gabbard deserved much more respect and thanks. Thank you, Yang. Yang's a good dude. Marianne Williamson. The Democratic establishment has got to stop smearing women it finds inconvenient. O'Rourke told reporters Saturday that Tulsi is not being groomed by anyone. She is her own person, obviously has served this country, continues to serve this country in uniform in Congress as a candidate for presidency. So I think those facts speak for themselves. And if there's anybody I could say I hate, it's Beto O'Rourke. But I will give him respect for that statement, because when you do good, you will get my respect, and I will admit that fully. I have no problem being wrong. I have no problem giving credit to people where credit is due. I am not super concerned about some ideological nonsense. They say that Clinton hasn't spoke further on the smear, instead pulling out of a planned event where she would have shared the stage with Gabbard. Gabbard, on the other hand, has only benefited from her spat. The Detroit News reports that Gabbard has skyrocketed to fame in Iowa, where voters can now identify her by name and no details of her background. Donald Trump. I would like to give Donald Trump thanks for giving recognition to Tulsi Gabbard. And this is where the Trump supporter and Gabbard fans come into play. I know diehard Trump supporters really don't like Tulsi because Tulsi's a bit far left. Yeah, I do like Tulsi. I think there's ground to have a conversation with her on the policies I disagree with her on, but I respect her character. I respect her willingness to defend people when they've done right. When Trump was cleared of wrongdoing the Mueller investigation, Tulsi Gabbard put out a video saying this is a good thing and we need to move on. Respect it. She said impeachment, she shouldn't have flip-flopped on it, so I'm going to criticize her for that. But at least she said people need to stop fundraising off of it and being so divisive and hyper-partisan when it comes to the inquiry. I can respect the position, actually, that she thinks we have to check presidential authority if we have to, but you need to calm down and stop, being so divisive about this. I disagree with her on, for the most part. I can respect the opinion. I don't think she's being, for the most part, I think she's being principled, though I do think some of this may have to do with pressure from Democrats because they all want the impeachment. But think about it. What Trump just did right here helped Tulsi Gabbard. Now, Tulsi helped herself. Tulsi's statement was huge, and it was praised by the left and the right. And you've got even Beto O'Rourke, Yang, Marianne Williamson, they're coming to her defense. Cory Booker put a tweet out like, whoa! Tulsi pulling no punches. So she did it to herself. Tulsi propped herself up. But here's the thing. A tweet from Donald Trump is substantial. And Tulsi Gabbard is going to get a ton of name recognition because the president has acknowledged her. While defending her may not be a good thing, I think a world in which we have Donald Trump and a Democrat disagreeing, and Tulsi Gabbard has had choice words, very negative words for Donald Trump, and Trump still came out and defended her. I think it's politically expedient for Trump to do so. I think he would like to prop up Tulsi Gabbard, but I'll tell you this. If you think, hold on. I don't think Tulsi can win. I'm not trying to be mean. I really do. I'm a big fan. I'm a donor. I believe in her in a lot of ways. And I really, really love these big, high-profile smackdowns she does in the establishment. I don't think she'll win. Okay? And I know I'd be better off lying and being like, of course she can win. Come on, man. I'm a realist. And I don't try to pull the wool over anybody's eyes or try and play games for the sake of winning. I understand that if you get enough people believing she'll win, it probably would help her, but I'm not gonna play that game, okay? However, I think it's very important Tulsi Gabbard becomes more and more prominent, gains more mainstream appeal among Democrats and among the American people. Because regardless of what her position is on Trump, we need to have politicians who are willing to say, okay, and sit down. And I'll tell you this, the Democrats, the media, and yes, even me, were critical of Donald Trump's decision on derail. Trump backed down. He doesn't always back down, but at least he did this time. I say, okay, you made a mistake, pencils have erasers. This means something important. It means when the people are loud enough, Trump backs down. Because I think the reality is Trump wants to be loved by everybody. And the left may disagree. They're like, no, Trump, no. Listen, man. Trump has always been this person who wants everyone to know his name, and he wants them to respect and love him. And not everybody does. Not everybody does. In fact, I can't remember who said this. It may have been like Steve Bannon or something, that Trump is going to hate running for president because he's a big celebrity now that everyone loves. But as soon as you run, they will tear you apart. And that's a fact. So there are some people now who probably like Trump who now just despise him. I think Trump is somebody who, if given the choice to be loved by everybody, he would be a centrist. I really do believe it. And I remember someone was talking to me about how he was pushing forward with like Second Amendment control, gun control stuff, and the conservatives got mad. But the Democrats didn't give him the praise he needed to pull him to the center. So he said, fine. And he went with those. He saw the bigger crowd of people waving and cheering for him. That's what he went with. I think Trump is a populist. I think his intention is to cater to as many people as he can. And I think Trump wants to be loved by as many people as he can. And so he'll be nice to you if he thinks if you're going to give him the mutual respect. So I think Trump is going after what he think will get him that respect. I think Trump recognizes the media will always hate him. The left will always hate him. And so because of that, he says, fine, he goes for the right. If we can create a world where you have Tulsi Gabbard on the left, where you have Democrats actually getting behind her, although many don't want to get behind her for stupid reasons because they're pro-war, I guess. But if the dominant personalities in this country were Trump and Tulsi, we would have two politicians coming closer to the center and catering to the majority of Americans and creating something more positive. So I'll wrap it up there. Thanks for hanging out. Stick around. Next segment's coming up at tomorrow at 10 p.m. Podcast every day at 6:30 on all podcast platforms. And I'll see you all next time.